Hey, payday, you want payday? I know that. Going against Canelo Alvarez was a mistake. I try to warn y'all. Brand new information comes out about UFC. They try to go up against Canelo Alvarez, and so far, it looks like Canelo is putting hands on the event. I'm going to break it down in this video. Shout out to my dog, Alan Dawson, great reporter. He asked Dana White a question today, and he says, Dana White told me that UFC is now $20 million in the red and counting. So it didn't stop like we just lost 20 and then now everything's profit. It says $20 million in the red and counting for production costs that go into the UFC Noche event at the Sphere. Wow. Why is this important? Well, I do recall Turki of Riyadh season having pretty much a beef with Canelo Alvarez. You see right here, Turki told ESPN that his sponsored UFC 306 event on September 14th will eat Canelo's fight card on the same night. So going into this thing, bear in mind that Turki was very confident that Dana White, the UFC, and UFC 306 Riyadh season would be too much, and Canelo fighting on the Mexican dates against Edgar Berlanga was no match for their fight. But now it looks like they've already been humbled as we get close to that September date. It's unclear why Turki is taking a combative stance with Canelo for the September 14th date, especially when he's someone that he says he wants to work with in an event next year. Which brings me to my point. I told all of you, see, why some of you guys were so busy just like butt kissing, your boy Ego was just keeping it real. And I told you to go against Canelo Alvarez would be a mistake for Riyadh season. You pretty much declared war with Canelo Alvarez and stated, we're taking you to the cleaners. It's our date. They try to Debo Canelo. You try to Debo him and say like, yeah. Oh, what about that date? Oh, I got a date. You know what I'm saying? That's my date, punk. You try to Tiny Lister Jr., Canelo, and now it don't seem to be working. And me being an American, this makes sense. Canelo has been fighting in America since age 19. He's been a professional fighter since age 15, where he started in Mexico, Guadalajara, Mexico, right? But he's migrated a long time ago. English Canelo is funny as heck, and him and Berlanga have done a really good job, better than expected, of just promoting their fight. So what made Turki and UFC believe that after so many years of Canelo holding down the Mexican dates predominantly, they were just going to come in and put no Mexicans really on the card? UFC 306, put Sean O'Malley on the card, and that was just going to replace Canelo and just like embarrass Canelo. It was just a weird game plan. And I said that on my videos. You guys can check it, and on my post. It was a weird stance. And then back to the point of, you say you wanted Crawford to fight Canelo. You're staging events to mess up his money. And Canelo the whole time was like, we doing things my way. And he was laughing. He said, I respect Turki, but, you know, we got to do things my way. Turki was the one that almost seemed combative and like he wanted to go heads up with Canelo Alvarez. And this is what happens with going heads up with Canelo Alvarez. He's Mexican. He's been fighting on those dates. And his tickets, the other thing is his tickets with PBC are reasonably priced for a boxing show or for a Canelo show, which you would expect. The tickets for Riyadh season, I've already talked about it. Those tickets were crazy. So here's a post that I made August 3rd, right? You guys see it. Fans shocked with the ticket prices for UFC Noche. So these are my old posts, right? To get in the building, these were the initial launch prices. You couldn't get a ticket under $3,000, $3,500, $6,000, $7,800, $4,750, right? What you think you got? Kelsey Grammer, Kelsey Carter, $50 million? Man, what you think you got? Like, y'all said Turki was saving boxing and combat sports. To get right here where this arrow is, where his finger is pointing, that cost $3,000 when the UFC first announced it. Who's paying that? Well, like the Sphere, I'm sure it's a nice venue. It's state of the art. It's new. But that's why you got to put the right fight there. You have to put a mega fight like Conor McGregor or something. You're charging for Sean O'Malley, who's like kind of the knockoff Conor McGregor, and you're charging $5,000 a ticket, and you have to go up with Canelo Alvarez, all to make this happen. And now come to find out, they losing $20 million, which leads me to my next point. When Boxing Ego told you and reported that Crawford Madrimov Riyadh season in LA with Eminem as the pop-up concert guest, I told you that fight lost over $10 million. The Bud Buddy said, oh, Ego, you're hating on Crawford. You're lying. So the report stated that Crawford Madrimov, they spent too much money and lost over $10 million. And then you look at it, they had Crawford coming out like rolling up in a muscle car, a classic car, driving all through the piers and Santa Monica. You had fireworks and fireworks shows, pyrotechnics. You had to pay Eminem his booking fee, whatever that. And I know he gets paid more than the fighters. You had a lot of names and different promoters on the card. You had painted the steps with Riyadh season. Just foolish stuff, spending money that doesn't really attract new fans. And when I said this about the Terrence Crawford fight, you guys said I was lying and I was hating. And fast forward to the future, Riyadh season, which you guys said was saving boxing, now they're saying on the UFC deal, they've already lost $20 million and they're in the red, $20 million and counting. So and then when I said the Crawford, there were some people who believed it, and then they said, oh, the Saudis got crazy money, so they don't care about losing. And I told you that's not how business works. Like, you could be a millionaire, you could do a sports bet where you lose 150K. You're not gonna like that. I mean, you can afford it, you can swing it, but at the same time, you're not gonna like it. So back to Canelo, shout out to him. He's clowning them. He's clowning them because Canelo never feared Turki's dates or the UFC. He said, more competition. A banana shake. You know, he just, I was born right. He wasn't tripping. He like encouraged it. And then now it looks like Canelo is seriously winning this battle because we're not hearing about his tickets are struggling to sell. So certain things represent good business. Dang, that's a crazy picture. And certain things don't. It's not about just having a big state-of-the-art venue. You got to make that make sense. It's just like Allegiant Stadium, the new home of the Las Vegas Raiders, where that's a nice stadium. It looks beautiful, state-of-the-art, but you don't see boxing events going there. There's not one boxing fight card that has taken place at Allegiant Stadium so far. Reason being is because you need the proper fight to try to christen a building like that. The upkeep and the capacity and how many seats it holds and stuff, that's just like a big undertaking. It's like having a moderate sized 3-4 bedroom home versus having a mansion. The upkeep on a mansion is going to be crazier because you're sitting on acres. Who's gonna mow that grass, right? Who's gonna do that? Who's gonna do these things? So you got to think it's not just about like looking flashy and things like that. And I really don't think they thought this through as it pertained with Canelo Alvarez. I don't think they thought it through at all. You try to go heads up with Canelo and it looks like he's spanking you, and it doesn't make sense. I mean, how is a fight already 20 million in the hole just by having it and hosting it at the Sphere? And they haven't even fought yet. And here's the other issue, which leave it to your boy Ego. I just showed you how expensive the tickets at launch were initially, right? 3,000, 6,000, 7,000. So they went from 3,000 being the cheapest price point to get in the building. Now, if you go look at Riyadh season Sphere tickets, see the Sphere, they got tickets for $700. So how you go? Look, they got tickets for 800 now. You got tickets for 888, and then there's some tickets for 757. Look, UFC Riyadh season. So now you had to come to your senses. You were charging $3,500 to get in the building. Nobody was paying it in America because that's ridiculous for a Sean O'Malley. It's not, like I said, it's not prime Conor McGregor or Mayweather McGregor or something we're talking about. This is Sean O'Malley, and the dude said he got cut. His opponent said he got cut, and he showed a picture. So that was just stupid. That doesn't help the fight. So they brought this on themselves. These are the prices or too crazy. And even at this price point, you're still going to have backlash. Who has this much money to spend? I'm not saying nobody has it, but I'm just talking about the average consumer. Do they have $3,000 for one ticket, right? Because most people don't go to these events solo. So you would have to have, if you want to go with a group of friends, you would have to either A, get comp tickets, B, pay for everybody's tickets, or C, have friends that are all successful like you to the point where you can splurge and buy $3,000 tickets, $1,500 tickets to go see a one night UFC show. It's just, it doesn't make sense. But back to Riyadh season, you guys praised Riyadh season. You guys said Turki was the best in combat sports, and you did it prematurely. They were giving him awards at the Crawford-Madrimov fight, and he's really been in combat sports probably since December, the Day of Reckoning card. And I just told you it didn't make sense to go, look, Turki rips Canelo, says he only wants easy fights. I've already went over all of this. The receipts are right there. I heard Canelo say that he respects me, but doesn't like the way we do business. As for him respecting me, it doesn't matter to me if he does or not. And then you start trying to roast Canelo Alvarez, but it's looking like Canelo is getting the last laugh. He's not giving you the Crawford fight. Crawford seemingly wants to retire if he doesn't get a fight. You called yourself the face of boxing and combat sports, basically. It says the most influential figure in boxing and MMA. So Turki was kind of feeling himself, put this out, and then now you're struggling to sell UFC tickets and coming to your senses that going against Canelo Alvarez on the Mexican dates with a non-Mexican show maybe wasn't the smartest idea. And that's just what it is. Like for me, I've done music, I rap, I act. I've already went over this stuff on my channel. But let's say I was coming out with the album. I would have to be humble enough to understand that if I was going to drop the album on Halloween, but then Taylor Swift is dropping the album on Halloween, or Drake is dropping it, or Kendrick, actually Kendrick's probably a better one. Kendrick was dropping the album on the same day, or Taylor Swift, you're going to get crushed. You're going to get crushed trying to go album sales for album sales with Taylor Swift right now, or anybody who's big like that, like K-Dot, like Kendrick. So you have to know when to fold in this game. Turki wanted to go heads up with Canelo and PBC, and now you got it. And it's just, it was a bad move because not only are you going against Canelo, you're kind of going against PBC, right? You're going against PBC saying, hey, I'm working with the UFC too, and we're going to ruin your event, and we're going to eat you and outsell you. Ha, ha, ha. We don't care. We don't respect Canelo having these Mexican dates. We don't care if he's Mexican. That's what you're saying. And then you probably get mad when PBC don't want to give you Tim Tszyu or something for Crawford, or Fundora for Crawford. I mean, this just doesn't make any sense. And like I said, notice the Riyadh season shows are getting less and less impactful. They started off where it's like, okay, loaded cards. But now I really strongly feel as they continue, they're going to, I've already said this, they're going to start getting lesser and lesser. It's the same, kind of the same story with DAZN. When DAZN first came out, they were overpaying people. But after a year or two of doing that and not yielding the right results, they said no pay-per-view and not having the right mission statement. They were just burning through money, and then they seen it wasn't actually succeeding. Then they started having to re-strategize, furlough employees, added a pay-per-view model, made some adjustments, stopped paying fighters that really didn't like. They have fighters like Daniel Ramon and, you know, like Tevin Farmer, who are cool fighters, but you paying Tevin Farmer $4 million don't really make sense unless you can recoup some of that money. You know what I mean? Or Daniel Ramon and guys like that. And DAZN had to learn the hard way, and it seems like the same is happening with Turki. He wanted this beef with Canelo, he got it, and now they losing money trying to compete with Canelo. Sheesh.